Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the amazing world of food and drink, Part 3. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Now, roll tape.
Now, time for the trivia question of the day. As I said, this is the amazing world of food and drink. Today's drink is coffee. Now for that trivia question. Let me extricate it here from its paper prison. The question: what color are coffee beans before they're roasted? Now the only prize, is one pat on the back that you'll have to administer to yourself. Please don't call us. We don't have any operators to take your calls, and even if we did, we could not afford prizes. Again, what is the color of coffee beans before they're roasted? I'll take a sip of water and be back momentarily with the correct answer. Okay, I'm calling time. Again, what color are coffee beans before they're roasted? Amazingly, they're either blue or green. They're the seeds of coffee berries, and the degree of roasting determines the flavor they impart to coffee. Now, the Arabs originally grew coffee, especially in their colony in Abyssinia, which is today Ethiopia. The secret was finally discovered by Europeans in the 1600s, specifically the Dutch, and they started raising coffee on the island of Java. Hence today we call a cup of coffee a cup of Java. Now, coffee drinking took off in Europe, and coffee houses were established in most of the major cities. For example, in 1715, there were over 2,000 coffee houses in the city of London alone. However, by the late 1700s, in many areas, such as England, tea drinking overtook coffee drinking. But after the Boston Tea Party in the colonies, it became unpatriotic there to drink tea, and coffee became our national drink. Now, for a couple of consumer tips for you. First of all, you ever have some coffee left over in the morning in the pot? You hate to throw it out because that's wasteful, but if you reheat it, it has that good old burn taste. Well, here's the solution. Take a thermos, rinse it out with some hot water to heat it up. Then pour that coffee from the pot into the thermos and save it for the next meal. Might just save you a few pennies. I'm not claiming it's going to make you rich, but these days, every penny helps. Another coffee tip. Do you ever open a can of coffee and find one of those cents off coupons near the top? And when you extract it, it spills coffee all over your counter. Makes you angry, it's wasteful, it's a mess. Well, here's the solution. Open the coffee can from the bottom. Then use the plastic lid provided to cover that. By the time you reach the cents off coupon, it will be down near the bottom of the can when you need a new can, and it's not going to spill any grounds all over your counter. Remember, you heard those consumer tips first right here. Again, on the amazing world of food and drink. Now, as you know, I'm a Ph.D., not an M.D., but I've always been intrigued by the world of bizarre food medicine. So let's see what's in the little black bag today. What do we have here? Aha! A photo or sketch of some bacon. Now this reminds me of the case in Boston recently of a 45-year-old civil engineer who recently returned from Costa Rica. He noticed on his back 8 purplish welts, and during the ensuing 2 weeks, they began to enlarge and itch terribly. So he finally checked himself into the Massachusetts General Hospital. There, a physician closely examined those welts, and do you know what he found? Tiny white bodies with black eyes peering out from each one of those welts. The man was suffering from maggot infestation of the skin. It's a technical condition known as furuncular myiasis. Fortunately, someone on the staff heard about an old folk remedy for treating this condition. You place strips of raw bacon over the welts, and that attracts the maggots. So that's what they did. They placed strips of bacon over each one of the 8 welts on his back. During the next 3 hours, those little maggots migrated into the bacon. The strips of bacon were pulled off, all the maggots removed, and the man's condition cured. So, heaven forbid, if you ever have maggot infestation of your skin, just reach for some raw bacon. That's why we call this bizarre food medicine. Now, time for the dictionary of food jargon. And today's term, to take with a grain of salt. Now, back in the Roman era, salt was considered very valuable. It was used as a food preservative, and in fact, Roman soldiers were either paid in salt or given money for salt. People believed that it had mystical properties. That's why they'd throw some salt over their shoulder for good luck. They also believed it could act as a powerful antidote against food poisoning. And in those days, people had many enemies, and generally, food often was rancid because of poor preservation techniques. So salt was regularly added to food if you were suspicious of its nature. And in time, that term, to take with a grain of salt, came to be applied to just about anything you're suspicious of. That is, you take it with a grain of salt.
Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes, yes, yes.